I think what motivates me to do art, I suppose, is the urge to express. Obviously, most artists would do that. And in my case, I think kind of like to tell a story that either is very meaningful to me, that I want to sort of share it, or a story that is kind of important to be known, yet it was underrepresented or untold that should be shared. And I think art would be a medium for me to bring forth that story. And previously, as you know, I was in literature, and so that would be more like a novel or short fictions. But now I chose, I kind of moved back to art to tell that story. So essentially, I think my work is about narrating a story. Yeah. I think I first got noticed about Kampung when I first came back to Malaysia and worked in KL. Like everybody, you know, it's exotic, it's this Kampung within this concrete jungle. But I didn't know more about it until much later. And after I work on Razak mentioned, the cracks in the wall, I'm more conscious about displacement, you know, moving community, you know, disappearance of leveling out of this whole community and heritage building. So that idea of Kampung Baru began to make more sense to me as something that needs to be talked about. And it's also very much talked about if you are conscious about, you know, this line of news. So I think when talking Kampung Baru as my subject matter, it was during the time when I received a grant from Cendana, and that kind of facilitated this moving into Kampung Baru to do more research, field works. And also there was, I remember, I think it was during a time when the change government decided again to try to move the people out, you know, sell the land and change it. And so I feel there's a certain urgency to tell this story before it's too late. So that's when I started Kampung Baru projects. I think I was described as a multidisciplinary artist, even though primarily I'm a painter. But to tell the story, and for contemporary artists, we tend to resort to medium that is most best to express the idea or the artistic vision. In this case, miniature was a very apt medium, even though at that time I'm still learning it. Yeah, but I feel it's the best medium to tell this story. The story is very complex because Kampung Baru is 120 years of history, more than 120 years, and it's 120 actors. So in order for me to tell this story to a modern audience that is with attention span which is short, miniature was able to help me condense the story into a very interesting visual form. And it has this narrative power that strings the different works together to form a sort of like almost like an epic story. I mean, the narrative power of miniature also was very good at telling sort of a historical narrative, which is, in this case, the story that I'm trying to tell about Kampung Baru. This issue about Kampung Baru being redeveloped into another so-called concrete jungle kind of thing, it's something that people has all sorts of opinion. But the question I found out later was, we talk about it, we are passionate about it. Not a lot of people really know Kampung Baru, including myself, until I do a bit more of the field works and the research. And not many people know about the history, the fact that it has 7 sub-kampongs that comprise, that form Kampung Barus, and where the rivers are and how it actually came about. I want people to look closer to this thing. I mean, it's like an elephant in the room. Everybody talk about it. In this case, everybody do see the elephant, but it's just that nobody go deeper, and yet we want to talk about it. So miniature, in this case, I want people to even look closer, lean forward, almost bow down to look at the thing. And if the work is interesting enough visually to attract people to do that, and that kind of echo the sentiment that I want people to engage, to go deeper, to look closer. I think that there's a lot to see in Razak Mansion. I think that, that was pretty much the intent of the whole process, the intent of the art projects, because incidentally, as important as a so-called community and a building this is, it was the last remaining building apartment complex from the 60s, and they had this wonderful apartment blocks that was being sort of mimicked to inspire a new generation of building that is being so-called trendy now, but this is the original. And on top of that, the way of life that was being fostered by this block of buildings complex, the Muhibah kind of thing, was very, very amazing, yet it was underdocumented. There was some effort here and there, some photographer, some architects was documenting that, but definitely not enough. And when I started this project, it was 6 months before the demolition, a bit late, but at the same time, it got into this community, got into this project, and there was so much to be explored, so much to dig out. So the artistic intent here is to document visually, more than visually. I mean, I write about it. I think I interview the people. Is to capture before all these are gone. What was presented as a whole series of work, I think there was a total of about 46 pieces of work in this series. We are showing a portion of it here. And because I also use a different kind of medium, videos, painting, essays, even brochures, photography, and I also built like a Facebook kind of a website to go with it. So I want to record in different perspectives as much as I can. I was very conscious that in 6 months, all this would be gone. And interesting enough, the people there, even though they're being moved to a new place, they were actually very sad. A new place with a lift, with the better facilities and whatever, and in walking distance, they were actually sad. There were residents that was really like inviting me to their home to do, to do photography, to paint them, partly because it really do mean something to them. And I feel this project was right in that sense, as in trying to capture as much as we can before it disappears. So what you see here, the pegboard series are the one that is more of the individual in their living space and the working space. Some of these are more sort of philosophical, I mean, this is like the finale of the triptych is the finale of the series, and then there was some transfer of murals from the actual wall of one of the blocks, and there was later, the next day was being demolished. So that sense of capturing whatever that was there before it disappeared was what I want people to see. And hopefully we learn in a way for the future how we handle change, how we handle displacement, or leveling up of a whole community, and able to see there is so much beauty, there's heritage, there's culture in something that's been there for a while. AISYALAM was, I think it was a project between after Razak Mansion, before Kampung Baru. And then when Kampung Baru came about, there was a certain urgency to take on that project, so kind of put it on hold a little bit. So I created about a portion of what I intend to be. It's still about this exploration about place and people. In this case, this is a special place for all of us, AISYALAM, which if you spell backwards is Malaysia. It's a lot more complex, obviously, because this is a country and it has longer history, and I want to get down, as this, I think there was a reporter to say that I was trying to tap into the soul of the nation. I was very inspired by this book called The Ugly Chinese, written by a Taiwanese, and it was banned. And he was inspired by this book that was written by a Japanese author, again, something about the Japanese. A group of people, in this case, people in this particular nation, and it come out of this land that kind of make us the way we are, even though we could be Indian, Chinese, Malay, Anglo-Saxon and whatever, but when you're born and in this place that changes the way we are and how weird we are. There is a certain oxymoronic kind of nature that us Malaysians have. So in this case, that was being portrayed in a certain way. There's a certain twistedness of our nature that I think, not by choice, but by the way the whole environment that sort of, make us who we are. And all of this thing is very interesting, and sometimes it's almost bizarre. So this is almost like an allegorical take on a nation that traces back through history and looking at the present. Hopefully there is some kind of indication for the future. So, but it's a project that is being done halfway. This is a portion of it. I had a lot more in my head to be executed. So done this tondo, the circular painting, stretch the canvas, make the frame stretcher, and my friend did the frame. It almost represents like a world in itself. So the series would take on quite a bit of this kind of circular works that portray this particular nation called AISYALAM.